Hey, Catherine. So, I'm kind of trying to draw a correlation between this tutorial and the lecture associated as the staying relevant presentation in class. And I think there's something that is really, really important to mention. And specifically, since you say no, there will always be tutorials on YouTube. Yes, there's always going to be tutorials on YouTube. There's always going to be resources online. Part of staying relevant, and one of the most significant part of that presentation, or the most significant parts of staying relevant as a designer is to decipher the legit from the BS. And there's plenty of BS out there. And to me, it's incumbent on the designer to be able to decipher what's real and what is maybe not the best advice. Therefore, I think it's, again, incumbent on the designer to be able to determine what's legit. And there's plenty on YouTube. I mean, there's plenty of tutorials, but the art and the hard part of finding and learning tutorials is to ascertain what is being presented in a technique that's indicative of industry standard best practices, as well as it's really important to use your best judgment based on design advice. For example, I've seen YouTube videos that say, oh yeah, stroking type, outlining typography, type letter forms is a great practice that brings out the visibility in letters. And that's just total BS, right? I mean, we know as designers that is not the case. As designers, we don't outline letter forms because it changes the shapes of the letters and the associated negative space around those letters. The reason I'm using that example is just to point out that you really, really want to be careful. Now, there are some resources out there that you can rest assured you're going to get great tutorial advice, industry standard best practice tips and techniques, and great design advice. And two of those that come to mind are PH Learn, which Susan referred to in her writing, as well as lynda.com. So sometimes you just got to be really careful with YouTube. And the main thing I think to keep in mind is you don't know the credentials of the person giving the tutorial. So you just kind of got to be careful. Okay, so that said, I'm not going to open this, and let me just tell you why, okay? Let me just open it really quick. Then I have to close it, okay? So here's the image. I got to close it really quick, okay? And I'm looking away, and I'm going to tell you why for right there. I closed it. Now, there's this technique creates what's called visual vibration, and it's an op art technique that we've all seen. And there are those of us who are highly, highly visually sensitive to visual vibration, or the trying to assemble this phenomenon or this optical illusion that things are vibrating on a page. It throws me into a migraine. I get dizzy and nauseous, and I'll stay that way for. So if I were to look at this image that you posted for a couple of seconds, it would throw me into a migraine. I am highly, highly sensitive to static visual vibration, or in other words, the illusion of creating vibration in a static or otherwise two-dimensional piece. So I just want to share that with you. It's not often the most advantageous technique for that reason. I did some research once, and it's not a great percentage of people who are adversely affected by visual vibration in a two-dimensional composition, but it's significant enough to maybe reconsider that type of presentation in a professional workflow. Okay, great job. Good. Thanks for sharing the tutorial. Thanks. Good read. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions at all, let me know. Thanks, Kathryn.